Okay, so here a quick video on how to use or how we use the entry helper and only how we use it. Again, there's ways you can use the entry helper and there's ways you should not use the entry helper. And again, at the end of the day, it's just a confluence, an additional confluence. It gives you the confirmed reason and not the reason why you should take a trade, right? So if it aligns and gives you another confluence, then you take it. And again, it's not the only reason why you take a trade. So let's dig into it. So we made a fancy looking, whatever you want to call it, like animation, illustration, whatever it is. So that's the entry helper cycle. Again, it is your confirmation for your entry and not the reason, right? So if you only look at the entry helper and say like, oh, that's a LIT, I have to take a trade. Nope. That's not how you do it, right? So that's why we have this LIT entry helper cycle. And of course, as almost everything, it starts with the LIT cycle. You have to have a build-up, you have to have an inducement, best case or like optional case and a relevant break of structure. And with the mitigation, the next cycle comes, and that is the LIT confirmation. So you have to have a build-up, you have to have an inducement, best case, again, relevant break of structure, and with the mitigation, it comes the LIT confirmation. And only then you look at the LIT confirmation, okay? So first entry helper confluence is, of course, the LIT in combination with the mitigation. And only then you look at the third confirmation, so after you had a LIT, then you look for an EDM. There's not an EDM if you never had a LIT. Okay, so you wait for a LIT and then the EDM is the next thing. The only option about that is if the LITs are very far away, but obviously we dig into a few examples. But the general rule is LIT cycle, then you wait for everything else like build up, like inducement, break of structure, and with the mitigation entry comes the LIT confirmation, and then the next thing is the EDM entry, okay? So you have the first EDM and the second one, the first the LIT and the second one, the EDM, right? So note, we only use the entry helper also on the M5 and M1. We don't really care if there's a 50-minute LIT or 50-minute EDM. You can, but that's not what it's built for. It's built for the M5 and the M1, okay? So mainly for M5 confirmations, and if you really want to narrow it down, then of course for the M1 after we had a valid cycle in place. Okay, so does it look like on charts? Very simple. Again, we saw this a couple of times already. Asia range now, building up the equal lows as always. Tubes upwards, that's your valid cycle play completed. Right, so that's your inducement here out of London. So you check the timing. Then we're looking at our cycle and say, okay, LIT cycle completed until the stage of mitigation. So where's my next possible mitigation zone? Right here. Okay, so guess what? Comes back, boom, mitigates in here. So no LIT confirmation. That's completely fine. Okay, so don't freak out about it. Guess what? Cycle is done. Extreme mitigation is done. So what are you waiting for? Next mitigation in this area. So let me delete that so it's a little bit more clearer. Like here's your next mitigation zone. What's your next timing? Magic manipulation minute 2 to the absolute minute. Boom. Taps into it. What is it? Boom. Here's your LIT entry. Okay. Check. What's the next thing you look for? EDM, and only then. Okay. And obviously, if you see in hindsight, unfortunately, there's no LIT EDMs in here. So that is done. Then next cycle continues. Okay, so it starts all over again. So guess what we have? Build up, inducement. Here's your minor inducement out of Asia range. What is this? Your relevant break of structure. Here's your mitigation zone. So cycle done in here. Right, so you're just looking for mitigation into what? LIT confirmation. So if this thing, boom, gives you the mitigation, you check your entry helper. And what a surprise! It is a LIT confirmation. So boom, check it. what's the next thing? EDM. So again, if this thing obviously played, you're having entry in here. Perfect. What's the next thing you're waiting for? EDM. Like this. Alright, so not the nicest one, but you get my point. Would be the perfect EDM, and that's it. You aim for Asia high, boom. That's it. Okay, then the cycle continues again. Guess what? Inducement high, just by a speckle of the spread. So sometimes it's a little bit not too nice, but it is what it is. Okay, and guess what? There's your relevant breaker structure. There's your new order flow, right? So guess what? That in here. Not the nicest, but what is it? Oh, to the absolute minute. Again, fakes in another break of structure in here. Perfect. And your entries on the 1 minute right in here. Boom. Also confirmed. Again, it's just the additional confluence. That's not the nicest one. I 100% agree. But guess what then? What's the next thing? EDM entry. When does it happen? London close time. Very late. But there it is. That's all it is. So you guess what? That's confirmed by the entry helper. That's confirmed by the entry helper. That's confirmed by the entry helper. And that's confirmed also. Insane. Alright, so guess what? Next day. Build up. Another build up. Inducement high side to low side. That's your break of structure right here. Where's your mitigation zone all the way up here. And if you check entry helper, again, also to the absolute minute. What a surprise. A little bit before actually, because I dragged the line a little bit before, right? Then guess what? This thing, obviously, that's you need to get used to the entry helper how it works on real time. So if this candle is solid black at some point, obviously the price point gets pushed higher, gives the perfect LIT into the mitigation. Boom, there's your LIT confirmation, and then obviously just have this huge channel build up with vector candle finishing up, inducement low side, right? So that's done. Cycle is done. No EDMs in this scenario. Then guess what? If this cycle is done, you look for the next thing. Build up. You had a build up. Inducement. You had the inducement with vector candles. Timing looks like magic manipulation minutes 2. Perfect. Okay. So guess what? Relevant break of structure. There you go. Where's the imbalance? Here. Next thing, you're looking for mitigation into a LIT confirmation. Boom. Confirmation into a LIT. Look at it. Oh my god. Mona Lisa shit. And then just off of it. What's the next thing? EDM. That's not an EDM. That would be a Mona Lisa EDM if that would be an EDM in here into this areas, but missed that. So that's not even a normal order flow. It missed the order flow even as well. Alright, so that would be the Mona Lisa one. And guess what? The EDM, if you check closely, is if my old eyes can detect that, should be here. If I draw that correctly, obviously you can do it lines more accurate than me with my pencil in here. That looks like an EDM to me. And here, so this one would be the late EDM entry, and then it's done. Done. Okay, perfect. So that's the only way you see it. But you see, it's everything. That's literally the ultimate formula as well, because you understand already what you should look for, and then you just have multiple additional confluences to make it bulletproof. So guess what? Another one, right? So as always, have you not having seen this picture before, right? So first of all, you had this build up, inducement, perfect, into slower to go higher, right? So guess what? Channeling upwards, induce the channel low side to go what? Higher, boom, inducement to the high side with vector candles. Look at this candle, like vector candle, and interesting one, and one unexpected, right? Happens in Frankfurt, right? So then, guess what? We monitor the entry helper after we had the build up, inducement, another vector candles into the valid inducement, right? In this scenario, we don't have a relevant break of structure in here. Right, because break structure would be in here. We never had that, so that's why at this point pushes or point is optional. And then again in 1 minute we should have a mitigation zone all the way up here to the extreme. But guess what? It is also a perfect LIT entry. That's again how you necessarily don't need the break of structure sometimes, because this comes back, mitigates the extreme, and then being a LIT. For additional confluence, the stop loss goes right above here, and boom, right? I saw even a few people even took this trade, even without the entry help already, so There you go. With the entry helper, it should even be more clean. Then guess what? We gave the most nicest gift ever, quadruple bottom of here, gives the reaction back. There's your imbalances here, right? That's your point of interest. So guess what? Here's your cycle play, build up, inducement to the high side of the build up, faking the quadruple bottom, right before Asia low. So obviously that's our liquidity target. So we have your liquidity target to the low side. Fuck yes, we have. Comes back into mitigation. Look at the entry helper. Okay, another LIT. What a surprise. Boom. Takes out Asia low. So that cycle is completed. Guess what? Makes another cycle to the upside. Takes out these highs. Right. But again, fakes the small money trap before that. Right here. Gives the fake reaction low side. Boom. Induces it. Even this one's. Right. Then, of course, this becomes your inducement. So guess what? Cycle continues all over the place. Here's your break of structure, or here, depending on how you want to see it. Right, so if you see this one, obviously, boom, break of structure. If you see this one, boom, break of structure. Then guess what? This would not be tradable if by any means, because you're looking for mitigation maybe in this area or something like this. If you look at just the price action. But guess what? That's the push. And what is it? What a surprise. A LIT after an inducement. So guess what? You cannot trade that. That's why you wait for what? This is the push that led to it. That's your internal break of structure. Boom, to low side. Here's your M1 mitigation in here. And you trade the mitigation of the LIT. So this is the LIT. That's the break of structure. That's your mitigation. Boom. That's your entry lower. Okay, then you're looking for EDMs. Here's your EDM. In these areas in here. Okay, and then boom, to a low side. Then again, 4 minute equal lows, faking the small money trap. London closes in here. What's the task of London close? Mitigate something if it's in the middle. Here's a supply candle. London close to the minute. What is it? Boom. It's all confirmed. What? Okay, another one. 28th. Alright, so guess what? Build up. Quadruple bottom. Triple top. Boom. Speed. Vector candle. Here's your imbalance. Right, here's your build up, here's your inducement low to go higher, inducing this liquidity right above the mitigation. Boom. Nothing to the entry helper. Got magic manipulation minutes. Okay, makes the extreme mitigation without entry helper confirmations. Completely fine. Rolls over. Break of structure. Again, look at it. Depending on if this is higher than that, doesn't look like it. So that's on a break of structure then. Okay, shows a new low. Fine enough. Order flow entry, timing to the absolute minute, magic manipulation minutes 2, mitigates, boom, LIT, done. If that's the EM in here, that's game over. Okay, and then just rolls over. It's not just a LIT, only LIT. But again, we're looking for EDMs, but it's not. Another one, build up, inducement with speed, vector candle in Asia even, but obviously that's not the inducement you're looking for. Here's your inducement out of Asia. Minor inducement. Here's your break of structure. Cycle completed. Right, so boom, 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 completed. Break of structure completed. Next thing, mitigation. Here's your mitigation area. After the break of structure. LIT confirmation. Boom, LIT confirmation. Take the trade. Okay, EDM trade. Next one in line. Boom, boom. Probably extreme mitigation on M1. Done. Aim for Asia high. Okay, done. Next one, last one actually. Okay, so what did we have here? Build up, inducement, baby break of structure, not really Micro highs, okay, into mitigation of this baby cycle. What is it? LIT. What? Vector candles into the next build up, inducement low, boom. Here's a cycle play completed, build up, inducement. Next thing is break of structure. That's the push that led to it. Break of structure, whereas imbalances all the way up there. Right, again, that's even 3 days in a row, if I'm not mistaken. We had the 28th, 29th, and now the 30th of June. Right, so what a surprise. It's not cherry pick days, literally day after day after day. Right, so guess what? Channel build up. Induce the channel to the high side into mitigation. Oh yeah, I haven't had this one before. Yeah, so Again, this candle was solid, grew at some stage, obviously being a LIT into mitigation, boom. Next thing we look for, EDM. Fortunately, never gave us the EDM. That would be Mona Lisa shit if that, for example, would be an EDM in here. But it's not. This is where it is. You always sometimes don't get it. Then just have to understand. Cycle, vector candle, cycle, done. That's your inducement low. Build up, inducement, your vector candles, timing, New York open this time, break a structure, boom. Mitigation area, huge imbalances from here to here until it comes back and fills it. LIT confirmation, LIT confirmation. And then obviously we talked about that one also. EDM, if that's the case, but unfortunately it's not. And then the EDM happens a little bit later in here. All right. Boom. Order flow inside the build-up. Completely fine. Done. And that's how you use the entry helper and nothing else. Again, you can combine it with the 1 minute, but obviously we'll give you multiple examples of how to use it on M1 as well. But you just see how freaking powerful it can be just on a 5 minute alone in the cycles. Like madness.